Everybody that can, please stand. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Okay, I'll go through the introduction of our officers now. We got Bruce over here, secretary. Gordon's at the VA hospital for some tests and stuff today, so he won't be here. Steve Morris is up in Seattle helping his daughter move. And so we've got Wayland here on Veterans Program. And we've got Dick 2, logo wear. And I wasn't going to introduce Dan, but I guess I can. He's back in the corner. He said he wouldn't do Zoom for me, so. Okay, that's everybody. See anybody else? So let's move on to the Fallen Veterans Program. Luckily, this time we don't have any fallen veterans, but Bob wanted to say something.
This is the second month in a row when we have not had a fallen veteran to honor. But just like last month, I wanted you to think about some friends, relatives, fallen veterans from your life who's passed. And I'd like you to spend just a moment doing that again this month. It's important for us to remember those who have fallen before the rest of us. Thank you.
I'll introduce our speaker. And Angela Kimmy Kamerer from, and her title just is the whole introduction. She's from VA Volunteer Services and the Center for Development and Civic Engagement, the Southern Arizona VA healthcare system.
Well, that's a long name, isn't it? It just says we do a lot of stuff. It's still, do you need the mic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can.
I want to thank you all for having me here. As he said, I'm the chief of Center for Development and Civic Engagement, CDCE. It's a long name for the same great service that we provide. And we were formerly known as voluntary service. I think it was kind of like right around COVID, they decided to change it because we do a lot of partnerships with community. We do a lot of partnerships. Is that good? There you go. Can you hear me now? Yeah. We do a lot of partnerships and it's more than just volunteers and it's more than just cake and punch. We're involved in so many programs. So I came here today to let y'all know of some of the opportunities that we have. I feel like I know most of everyone here because you are either at the VA or volunteer and already work for us at the VA. So I just want to thank you. And I want to thank each and every one of you for your service too. A little bit about me. Like I said, I'm Kimmy Kamerer. I'm originally from North Carolina. I'm sure the accent gave it away. And I joined the Air Force when I was 18 years old. Didn't know what I was doing. I thought, I'll do it for 4 years. We'll see how that goes. I graduated in June, went in October, and I was a medic. I was a medic the pretty much the entire time. And every time my enlistment was up, I was like, this is fun. I want to continue to do it. And, looking back at the time, I would just do stints. But I'm so glad I did what I did because we're part of such a group that is so powerful. And, even though I've never been to this community, I feel so safe because you all are here. So, I did a lot of medical coverages with the Army. And even though I was Air Force, I had rather have the Army have my 6. So, that's a little bit about me. I also became a first sergeant, and, that was when I was in Omaha. So that's why I get a little bossy sometimes. But I totally loved it. I retired after 24 years, 7 months, and 14 days as a senior master sergeant. And we retired here in Davis, at Davis-Monthan here in Tucson. And I started on my way to my retirement ceremony. I put in my application to work at the VA. And I became a program support assistant. I started at the bottom. I wasn't quite at the front desk, but one rung up. And I've just kind of worked my way up. And it's only because I truly, truly love what I do. I've been there for going on 16 years and very happy. I've had every position just about there is. I can do every position. Now I'm the chief. So, but I want to thank you all for all of your donations that you give. I pulled some numbers yesterday just to kind of see where we're at. Just your group alone in FY23, volunteer hours, 290.25 hours. That is awesome. That was in FY23. So that values, because I think it's like $30.20 an hour is valued for a volunteer hour, and that's a national standard. So that was worth $9,229.95. As far as donations, that's the support that you've given for the Patriot Pantry, the homeless. There was $6,569. That's for FY23. Guess where we're at now? We're not even halfway through the year. And as far as your donations go, you're at $7,393.50. That's powerful. So we have totally passed even where you were at the end of the last fiscal year. And we couldn't have done that without all of you all bringing all your stuff, gathering it up. Dan bringing it every Friday. He has a little routine where he goes to homeless and drops off the clothes, and he comes to us and drops off the food. All of your donations where you've come and kind of given us check donations. We've had photo ops. And I heard that the letters, you're starting to read the letters. Every donation that you give, as long as it's documented, I hand sign a letter to thank you all, because we couldn't have a program without you. So far, y'all have given to Patriot Pantry. You've given to homeless, but we have a lot of other programs that we do. We have about 280 volunteers back. Before COVID, we were probably at about 800 volunteers. So a lot of people have just found different things to do. They move back with family. So we're still looking for volunteers. That's a definite way that you can help support us. And volunteers come in all walks too. We have some that do computer input. We have some that are our Red Vest ambassadors. Raise your hand if you're a Red Vest ambassador. These people are amazing. They probably do 5 to 10 miles a shift when they work. So many of them are in 70s, 80s. And I think it's because longevity, you need something to look forward to. You need something to do and to help others. So that's what these people are doing. So I just want to thank you all for what you're doing. And then also I have a VAVS committee. It's all of the service organizations in the area. Raise your hand if you're on that. So thank you all very much. We have volunteer recognition coming up in April, like the 24th that week. We're going to have a barbecue. I think it's like at 2 or 2:30. There's a barbecue. We have a VAVS meeting at 1 o'clock. After that, we're going to roll out to the sports complex on campus and have a gratitude barbecue. So if you all want to come, please come and partake and just have some face time with everybody. So some of the other opportunities we have for you to donate. Let's see, the Patriot Pantry, that's one of my big ones for right now. It's 100% on donations. So last I checked, we've served over 600 veterans. So that's a lot. And, you know, I know just the other day I went to the commissary and bought groceries. And I remember years and years ago, it was like $120. That was like my limit to buy groceries. John and I walked out of there and it was like $400 plus. I'm like, that is crazy. I mean, and it's a lot cheaper than the economy where some of our veterans are allowed to shop. So, prices are crazy. So thank you for what you're doing with that. Recreation, we're starting to do more and more recreation. I just sent 3 veterans to the winter sports, activities, wheelchairs. So they were there doing the winter sports. We funded the hotel, we funded the plane tickets. So I have an account that I can accept monetary donations and we can help to get those veterans to these programs. We just had, the week of Easter, we had a creative arts ceremony. Because I don't know, do you guys know about creative arts? I can send y'all some information through Dan or Richard. But in creative arts, if you have an art that you do or craft, you can enter it into creative arts. And if you win, you go to national. And out of that, we had 4 veterans that came back with national medals, with national wins, and one won 2. So it's a big deal, but we work with our community partners to help get those veterans there because everybody can't afford just to jump on a plane and go. But it's very healing. We have a whole health garden. I don't know if you've been around the campus. I've got 3 gardens that we bought and started. One's over in Blind Rehab. They're growing tomatoes, peppers, kale, chard. And what that does is it gives the veterans an opportunity when you have some downtime, you know, even if you're in the hospital, you don't feel bad, hopefully, all the time. But you can get out and do a little bit of gardening. The staff can go out and do a little bit of gardening. So I've been partnering with the dietitians and the dietitians, whole health, and then the departments that are caring for the gardens, and they're learning healthy ways to cook. They're learning just like holistical ways to garden and just how therapeutic it could be. So that's one of the items that I'm looking for funding. I want to make more gardens. We have one in Southwestern Blind Rehab. There's one kind of right behind parking lot Q. Whole Health owns that garden. And it has like some sensory things like some oregano, lavender, basil in there. So, you know, they can have veterans go out and experience that. And then also 95, we have Building 95, and that's our substance abuse program. And, you know, while they're healing, they are able to go out and garden. We've been working with grounds to get some like little pavers around it. So even it can be wheelchair accessibles or walkers, and the raised garden so everybody can participate in that. We do bingos over in our CLC. They're having groups come in. So if you don't really want to volunteer, like some of our volunteers, where they come in once a week, you can come in as a group and, you know, I can put you in the right place to talk to the recreation therapist. And you want to do a bingo, if you want to do a casino night, you can come out and, you know, just spend some time with our veterans, do a cookout. So those are our other ways. Our Blind Rehab, they're always looking for fishing equipment. They're looking for golfing equipment because they go out on activities. And I'm also looking for drivers. I'm looking for recreational drivers for Wednesday and Thursday for Blind Rehab. And, but there's a physical involved with that. Sometimes when people get to age that they're able to volunteer and they have the time and then you put that physical in there, it's like, well, so they aren't able to necessarily volunteer at that time, but, that's one of our hard to find. And as I came into your association here, into your neighborhood, I heard the aerobics instructor. How nice is that? So they were doing the pool aerobics, and we want to offer that to our veterans too. So not necessarily the aquatics, but we're looking for yoga instructors. I'm looking for Tai Chi, Qigong. So if anybody knows someone or you're interested in that, if you're a trainer, let me know because I would love to have you. See, you know, some of the little items that we take, we're out of the book business unless it's like a new book. Just because it's a multi-touch surface and it goes for, you know, people that are sick. So we try to get away from that. We do take magazine subscriptions. So that way, if we get a subscription sent to us, it can be passed out. I've started getting the comfort card back out to the veterans. And what that is, it's one of my concierges that goes around and with a card, we visit with every veteran that has been admitted. Make sure that they have everything they need. Some of the items we have, emery boards, we have our female veterans. We, a lot of times the hygiene items or the combs, the grooming things, they're made for men. And you're not gonna get a comb through this hair. You need a brush and some special stuff. So that's another thing that we take is the hygiene items. And we take the hygiene items for the women and get those out. We have beautiful quilters that make quilts. We pass those out to our veterans. So crossword puzzles, anything you can think that might be fun or something you would like if you were in the hospital, we take. We have a Fisher house. It's a 16 room Fisher house for families. If you're further, I think, than 50 miles away and you have a loved one that's undergoing some serious treatment, you need to be there. And the Fisher house is beautiful. Have y'all ever toured the Fisher house at all? We just celebrated our 8th year, and it's like walking through a pottery barn. It is absolutely fast. We have volunteers that come in, prepare meals. So that way, when the caretaker has been taking care of their loved one all day, they can go out and, you know, there's little meals in the refrigerator, just pop in the microwave and be done. Excuse me, my allergies are terrible. Arts and crafts, we take arts and craft things, music therapy. We have a music therapist that goes around and teaches people how to play guitar, how to play the flute. We have the Native American flute that comes in. So we take items like that. We have a new mom basket program. Quarterly, we do a virtual baby shower. So a lot of our veterans, you know, are younger but they're spread across the state. We used to have it in the VA once a quarter, but with COVID and, you know, people are working. It's hard sometimes to get to the VA for an appointment. So they do a virtual baby shower and then still mail out the items. So we can take diapers, we can take onesies, but it all needs to be brand new kind of items, nothing that is like hand-me-downs or used items. We have our homeless, as you all know. We have HUD Bash. We are in the need of starter items for homes, you know, buckets, mops, brushes, cleaning items. So that way when a veteran does get a home, you know how expensive it can be to start back up. So, does anybody have any questions so far? We just celebrated our Vietnam veterans on the 29th, and I was talking to Earl, and I'm gonna send him out with some pins. We had some commemorative pins for Vietnam veterans, and I'm gonna make sure that you all get that, so I'll be sending those out. Yes.
You mentioned the name of the group you're ahead of. The volunteers that I know have no idea what the name of the group is they're working with. What actually was wrong with volunteers?
Well, really nothing wrong with volunteers, but, you know, we get a little sip of my coffee. When we changed the name, it wasn't me. Just know that. It was bad timing for me, but it was not me. Yeah, it was somebody, it was central office, but what they wanted to show is we do development, we teach, we're involved in so many things. And it's more than just volunteers. A lot of them thought we were volunteers. They thought my staff were volunteers. They thought it was just 100% volunteer program. And people looked at us as like we were just cake and punch. And we're a lot more than cake and punch. So with anything, sometimes the name says it all. So that's why it evolved. But like I mentioned, it is still the same great service that voluntary service has always done. Did that help?
No, but go ahead.
Can you say you're right? You're on there. Go with the political decision, I'm sure. Anything else? Did y'all know that there's a couple of different types of volunteers? We have regular volunteers and we have occasional volunteers. So if you want to come in on a normal day, you'll need to go to an orientation. And we do kind of put you through a paperwork boot camp. But we just want to make sure that you're trained to do everything that you need to do and that you're safe and that you're covered if something were to happen. If you wanted to come in as an occasional volunteer, do a bingo, maybe pass out some Valentine's Day cards, Veterans Day cards, that could be an occasional volunteer. I do ask if you do a donation that you fill out the paperwork. And I brought some of those. I brought some folders for everybody. Anything else? You guys are amazing. I want to thank you for everything that you do. You file claims, you transport patients, you help us with decisions, you help us with how to grow, how to be a better service. And I wouldn't have a job without y'all. So I just want to humbly say thank you. And I'm today, so if y'all have any questions afterwards, I'll be here.
What checks for you?
Oh,
Oh, yeah. See, it's over here. Great game.
so those numbers just went back up.
Maybe you see the wonderful gift we have for you.
We just used all of our speakers.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Remember that you spoke to us.
That was nice. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you guys all for your support. I really appreciate this. So good.
No big specials to that. Thank you. And then David, you'll come up here? We'll continue giving away money. For DAV.
Thank you. Well, I looked at all too.
Yeah, sure. Maybe.
Hey, Larry, just for the, what was the size of those checks? You
Okay.
guys know what we're giving away.
We did. You can actually go to our charity page and look on the spreadsheet that's there as well, and it'll tell you. But what we did was, we gave $2,000 to Patriots Pantry. We gave $2,000 to Veteran Services, Volunteer Services, and we gave $500 to DAV. And that's all before we got very much from dues or anything. That's pretty much the realtors and some income from our ticket sales for our cookout stuff, so. That's where we are on that. And now, since Gordon isn't here, I'll give the treasury report. We started off with $6,023.90. We deposited $4,205 in memberships, cookout ticket sales. We got $1,000 from Roger Daggett, $97 from the donation can. Let's see. And we got $20 from, one of the ladies at the front desk. We got $175 from Dan Cook. Not sure what that was for.
That was for my lifetime membership.
That's good. Then we'll put you down as a lifetime member.
Maybe it expired already.
Yeah, it probably did. So anyway, we had an ending balance at the end of March of $8,066.62. And as you saw, we just gave a lot of that away. So that'll be in next month's report. Next up is talking about the dues that we approved at last month's meeting. It's more clarification than anything. The dues don't pay for donuts. Mark Stein is still paying for our donuts. And we thank him for that. He's done it as a donation now, rather than the way he did it before. He just asked if he could just give us a donation. So we keep enough money in there to buy donuts every month. So we have donuts for our meetings. But the main thing is we're trying to keep our donations to things like VAVS and Honor Flight and DAV and all those organizations. We're trying to keep that going. And we know the realty market is right now very up and down. So we don't know what we're going to be getting from those guys. And so we want to kind of keep donating money. So we set up this dues to do that. If you want to make a lifetime donation or a lifetime membership, that's fine. It's $175. I did that just so I don't have to worry about next year remembering to pay into it again. So, but I know several have done annual, and that's fine too. Some guys like to do annual because they say I might live longer than 7 years, which is what $175 pays for. But me, if it goes more than 7 years, I'll pay a lifetime again. That's fine. Because I'm not trying to make money on it. I'm trying to donate and keep this thing going. So anyway, that's kind of what the dues is about. And if anybody has any questions. Annual dues are $25. So if you want to pay your annual dues, it's $25. You can pay it any time throughout the year. Right now, we're going to ask in January that you pay it in January. But for this year, because it's a partial year, pay it if you can. If you can't, that's fine too. We're not gonna keep people from coming to meetings. We're not gonna do any of that. If you can't afford it, there's been people have offered to pay for some of that. Go ahead.
How do you want the checks made out?
The check should be made out to the Sunflower Veterans Club. And then down in the memo, you can put annual dues or lifetime. And that'll take care of it. You want to pay in cash, you can pay in cash. If you want to pay online, we have a way online to pay for it. So there's a lot of different options.
I just wanted to reiterate, nobody is turned away for lack of funds. You know, and I think that Tim Walter spoke with us about possibly setting up a fund. Is that true? Yeah, and setting up a fund where we'll have a fund of money set aside. The people that are marginalized and can't afford it can come to us, and we can supplement their membership that way. So I just wanted to really emphasize that. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't want this to be a deterrent to anybody. If you can't pay or you know someone who can't pay, we're more than happy to take care of that. There's plenty of people that have stepped up already to say they'll pay the dues for anybody who can't. So we're fine with that. We're not trying to do this to narrow down our membership or anything like that. We want every veteran to feel like they should be a member. And so that's the big thing with dues. It had to do with keeping our donations going out and keeping them to where they're meaningful to the organizations that we donate to. So if there's no other questions.
I got a question, just, want to say, about how many, veterans are in the club?
Well, it depends. If you're talking about active members, Active members, and this means anybody who's attended a meeting within the last 18 months, we're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of about 75 or 80. If you're talking about total membership, and we go back, we keep records from around 2017, maybe even a little bit before that. And we don't always have all of the information. This includes people that have passed away. This is a whole spreadsheet. Bottom line number on that is like 400 and some. And living members is probably around 300 and some. So we have a good membership. These are people that have filled out the information forms, so we have their information. But I know there's other veterans that live here in our community that aren't members, haven't filled out the information forms. So if you know someone like that and you think they'd like to come to a meeting, we're not just about benefits. We're not just about things like that. We're also about guys telling their stories, just kind of camaraderie amongst the whole group as well. We want to make sure that everybody enjoys their time here. So, yeah, and if anybody has an idea of ways we can improve, please let somebody on the board know, because we would be more than happy to entertain anything for making it better.
Thank you. My wife, Lynette, and I just started our paperwork in today, so we'll have to do more.
Thank you very much. Okay, if there's nothing else on that, Sharon?
Yeah, I just wanna say that, there's still some tickets available, that if anybody wants to come to the cookout on Saturday, come to me and I'll get your tickets and sign you up. Yeah.
Do you have enough volunteers?
Yes, I do.
Okay, very good. Do we have any, we don't have any new business, so do we have any new members or people attending for the first time?
Bruce Olifield, and my wife Lynette, who both served, when I was Army nurse, 74 to 87. And I was engineers from 73 to 82. And we served mainly in the States and in Germany. But we're happy to be here. We've known about it for a while, but we make excuses not to come. So, but we're here today. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Lynette. My husband and I met in high school and we joined the Army together after graduating. They did away with they made it an all volunteer service, but I went in as a WAC, and during my basic training, they merged with the Army. So I came out a soldier, and I'm disabled and retired from the military. I just had surgery at the hospital. It's a wonderful place, at the VA hospital. I actually miss being in the service. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay, for the good of the cause, I have a note here we got from Richard's son, and he's going to be laid to rest in the columbarium at the Veterans Memorial Cemetery in Marana, April 15th at 2 p.m. There's not, right now, there's nothing scheduled before or after. There's no real ceremony. It's just, we already went through all of that with Richard. So it's just a matter of, they got the columbariums done. So now he's got a place to be laid to rest. So if you want to go out to that, you're more than welcome. That's what his son said. So everybody's welcome to go out.
What was the time again?
2 o'clock on the 15th. And that's on the website as well. So if you go on the website, it's the very first page, one of the sections in there has to do with that, so. Okay, and then we have someone else that wants to speak for good of the cause, so go ahead.
As most of you know, I'm commander of DAV Chapter 4. We're right behind Bisbee Breakfast Cafe in the back strip mall. I wrote a book. I call it Lenten Reflections. It's $8 and change. I call it Lenten Reflections because I could only write during Lent. I have no explanation why only during Lent. And just to give you a brief synopsis of what it's about. I got home in 1972 from Vietnam. I had served 19 months in Vietnam and I got to see the nitty gritty. I mean, we were in the thick of it. The month of November, I got shot down 4 times. Think about it. And I survived. Here I am. When I went to Pima College in 72, 73, I could read a book and I could tell you everything about it. I would close the book, my mind went blank. And this went on for about 5 years, and finally I said, I can't go to school. I can't remember anything. Later, when I was seeing a psychiatrist, the psychiatrist told me, David, what did you do when you were in combat? I said, well, we would go out, do our thing. But when you came back, what would you do? I said, I would blank it out. I just erased it from my mind. And he said, well, now you know what happened when you were trying to study. You understood everything. When you were in combat, you understood everything. But when you came in, you forgot about it. If you don't forget about it, you become a nomadic or you go crazy. I mean, it's not a pleasant scene. Anyway, later, I went back to school. And because I wrote this book, I was able to graduate from the U of A in 2004 with a degree in public policy and management. And this book, it goes from Vietnam, the US, Vietnam, the US. Now, I don't stay in Vietnam. I also go to the United States, back and forth, back and forth. And some of the thoughts that I had, I wrote them down. If you're interested in the book, this is what I wrote. Danger, stop, do not go any further. Caution, warning, do not turn the page because if you do, you will never be the same. That essay deals with the real world. Today, we live in a make-believe world. Many people cannot handle the real world, so they live in denial in a false world. However, to them, it is real. Please, if you have a weak heart and scare easy, please do not turn the page. To those who turn the page, welcome to the real world. And this warning, you get the book, you will know what I'm talking about. Just go to Amazon, Lenten Reflections, David Morales. I also like to read this part. I call it learning how to be a human being. Me, I am worth more than all the money, all the gold, and all the oil in the world. I am true to me, and I want good. What good would it do if I were to inherit all the riches of the world if I was to lose me? I have to be true to me and believe in me. There is a true and false of me. What comes first, feelings and thinking. So I also wrote this part. This book deals with life and death. Yeah, I was submerged in death so I could write about life because I understand it. What is a lollipop mentality? Every time we sentence a person to death row, it is the same as sucking on a lollipop. The two have consequences. The lollipop is given for good behavior, and the death penalty is given for bad behavior. Similarly, the two are very satisfying, and the lollipop satisfies the craving for sweets, and the death penalty satisfies society hunger for justice. Both, and by the way, justice is spelled JUST-US, just us. Both will create an end when they are finished, and we will have a stick and a corpse. Both are put in containers and later buried in the earth. All that remains are memories. One is sweet and the other one is bittersweet. Today, we cannot eat enough lollipops to quench the thirst for just us. The more lollipops we devour, the more we want. Anyway, you want the book, Lenten Reflections, David Morales, go on Amazon. It's 8 and change. Thank you.
Anything else for the good of the cause?
Thanks for the chance to visit with you shortly about the program that is going to be starting this Sunday. It's called Grief Share. It's a grief support group for those who are going through grief, whether it be a spouse, a relative, or a close friend, or another person that you know that is, the result of their death has really impacted you. It's a 12-week cycle program that meets at the Desert Life Catholic Church. It's out on Wade Road. And it's 12-week cycle. We meet from 2 to 4 in the afternoon. The program consists of a video, a workbook that you can go through on your own, and also general discussion. But it's a chance to talk about a number of topics related to grief and grief itself, and some of the reactions that are pretty common to grief. It's a very helpful program for those who go through it. Again, it's a 12-week program. It's from 2 to 4 in the Sunday afternoons at the Desert Life Catholic Church. There's one other topic I want to mention today, and that is the American Legion has a program called Be the One, and it is suicide prevention program. And it helps individuals, if you ever study it or read it or go through it, dealing with someone that particularly is depressed and is considering suicide as a possibility. He gives a lot of good suggestions in doing that. It can impact anyone, actually. And so that's something that if you belong to the American Legion, grab the magazine for this month, because they've had excellent articles, and this month is outstanding dealing with that topic. Again, Grief Share, 12-week program, 2 to 4 in the Sunday afternoon at Desert Life Catholic Church. If you have questions, you see me or give me a call, 520-603-4955. Thank you.
Anything else for the good of the cause?
Here.
Uh-oh, there's Dan.
I just want to say I'm so proud to be here today and listen to my boss, Kimmy. Now, telling everybody here what we do down there, because I didn't realize what we did down there. But I do want to put a stamp of satisfaction on pushing old men and old women around all day. It's really fun down at the VA. I've been doing it for 15 years. And some of those old men and old women keep coming back, and I love it. They're so positive. They boost me. They give me the joy of being old, and knowing that I can pay back a little bit to the vets that have served our great nation. on behalf of everybody here. It's really been fun. And one other thing, I was at the Easter egg hunt on Sunday. It was Sunday, wasn't it? Last Sunday? Whatever the Easter egg hunt was. And a friend of mine came up in the crowd and he said, have you read the back page of the Sun Catcher? And I said, well, nobody reads the back. You gotta read the back page of the Sun Catcher. Well, I read the back page and I realized half of the page was an ad about this club. About this club, about all the good things we do. And that ad was put in there by Diamondback Realty with our good friend Tim and Kay especially. Who think so much of this club, honorary members, but took the time and the money to tout our good deeds. So I just want to say thanks to you guys, and if you can volunteer, come on down to the VA, that's great.
Thank you.
Just one thing, and I stepped out for a moment, so I'm not certain, but two applications for new members to our club. Lynette and Bruce Hollingfield were turned into me as they came in, and I wanted to make sure that you understood, introduced yourselves. Okay, thank you very much.
Anything else? One thing you can see, just to let everybody know, the letters that we get from anybody we donate to, there's a plastic holder out there above the Patriots Pantry basket. That's where we put those. So you can read those letters over there. Most of them that are in there right now came from the Volunteer Services and Patriots Pantry. But any of them we get from like Camp Corral or any of those organizations, we put those out there so everybody can see those. The other thing we started doing is any pictures that we take of when we're giving donations to organizations, we're putting those up on the TV out here in the lobby. So people, the whole community can see what we do. We're trying to make it a little more visible to the whole community that their money doesn't just go into a black hole. It actually comes here and we donate it out. And as of right now, this year, we have donated over $8,000. So we're becoming more meaningful in that community, and I think it's a great thing.
Still need people to step up to help us out at the board of directors. Anyhow, there's a name for them, I forget. I was one of them before I became secretary, but we need people to step up, and our next board meeting is on April 17th, I believe, at 11 o'clock in this room here. So come on down and see what the board is doing and what you might be able to do to help us lend a hand to make it better for the cause. Thank you.
And all members are welcome at our board meeting. Just to see what we do, we're trying to be transparent. We want to make sure everybody here has input into what we do. If you have any recommendations as well, find a board member, let us know, or come to a board meeting. And you're always more than welcome. Anything else? Okay, with that, we're adjourned.
We're not.